I will be interviewing Susan Friedman today. Susan is part of our committee work at Artist Network, and she is participating in the Riverdale ArtWalk, the virtual Riverdale ArtWalk, which will be opening this weekend. And so we have an interview scheduled with her so that she can talk a little bit about her fantastic abstracts and beautiful way of processing that. So she's there we go. There she. And we'll see if she pops in there and she can give us some insight to her work and how she creates her beautiful pieces. Ta-da! We did
Hi,
it!
we did it. I'm
Yeah,
on my phone, so it hopefully won't be too wobbly. My laptop just didn't work. So there you go.
there you go. That's all good. The phone is always the best with Instagram Live. So how are you, Susan?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm very excited for the show and the tent tour this weekend. I just can't wait to actually talk to people in the flesh, in person, instead of on screens. And there's a lot of advantages, and it's been great that we've been able, a lot of opportunities with doing online. But really, it's such a pleasure to see people and talk in person and share our stories and our inspiration and our process.
Yeah, for sure. It's I hope people show up and just drive by and pop in, and it'll be good.
Exactly.
Be good to see other artists as well. It's just a whole kind of weird space that we're in at the moment. So yeah. So talk to me a little bit about your work. I'd like to know your process a little bit more. Can you give me a little bit of insight into your how you step in to find your images and
Absolutely.
yeah.
So I start often with travel photos or things that speak to me in terms of the experience, not just the visual photograph. And yeah, and just things, and we've been doing so much reflecting this past year and walking. So, the everyday, what's around us, travel photos, that sort of thing is often my jumping off point. But I heard your interview at the beginning of the afternoon about layering, and that is huge for me. And I think it's become even a more important part in different ways as I process and reflect on what that all means in terms of the art.
Yeah.
We're all so multi-layered. We all have many stories. We're all affected by all our experiences, and they all build on each other and affect us in so many ways. And I think it's the same with a painting. I start with an acrylic ground and or a collage, and then I create something based on an image I want to. I incorporate it. But then I often find, and I found that more and more now, what I really love to do is go into my older paintings that I don't want to stay attached to anymore and let go and just go over it. And I don't gesso over like a lot of folks do. I just basically sometimes, like this painting here, it was an acrylic painting, and it was okay, but it didn't really, in the end, kind of speak to the emotion behind it for me in terms of the scene. So I turned it upside down, and I had worked on that one for months and months and months. This one, I turned around. I thought of this image. This is taken from a photo of mine in travel times in Lisbon, walking. And I love the photograph. I love the composition and the color and my memory of being there, which was fabulous. And the oil painting that I did on top, I made sure to leave a lot of the acrylic showing so that it would speak to the painting as well. And in the end, this one was done within a few days, plus touching up. The other one took me months and months. So, but it is that painting also. So when people ask you how long does it take to paint these, it's always, well, a few days plus several months plus, like,
And
60
it's
plus years
never
of experience
safe
in life.
to use your hands. That's basically, till someone buys it, I'm like, you are all fair fodder for being painted over. So, yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Most of them, not all. Some are
yeah,
special. They're hanging up. So,
yeah,
but yeah,
yeah,
they don't, and even things that you think are wonderful in the moment, that you do them, you get over yourself pretty quickly. And,
yeah,
you see a week later, a month later, a year later, yeah, it was okay, but I want something else now. I'm someone else now. So I
yeah.
think who we are and where we are in our lives reflects what we want to do and what we want to say.
I think there's something really special about the history of that surface and texture and how that
Hmm.
takes you into a different space because there I mean, especially if you're working on a piece for a long period of time. I have this too where you'll work on a piece and it's going on and on, but in your gut, I can't get it. I can't get it. And then in my mind, I'm like, oh, no one will notice. And then it's like, yeah, okay. So that piece, it's not working. We need to, and that's the magic of art, right? There
Yeah,
is energy that great paintings have, where some come really quickly and some take a little bit longer. But you know it. Like you just look at it and you go, yeah, it's
that's it. Yeah.
it's too forced, it's too intentional. It doesn't have that space,
And
right?
even if you work on it for months and it never quite reaches it, it's going
Yeah.
to be wonderful ground for
Yeah.
something else eventually. And so sometimes turning it around, putting it away, not even looking at it for months or,
Yeah.
in a couple of years, you take it out again and go, wow, this is going to be great because now you have a new idea, new concept, new stories to add to the old. And I love that about art.
And when you worked with an actual image here, but I have seen a lot of your pieces that it seems like the figures are just being discovered in
Yeah.
that. You have that process as well, that you try and find it
Yep.
within space.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do. I'll do a lot of so my one of the things I've been doing a lot of, and I don't know if I can show it here because it's whoops, might not show up. But
Yeah.
I'll
Comes
do
through.
the
Yep.
yeah, I'll do the collage and then think, okay, what's the image there? And I'll go into my drawings from models and say I can see that model in there. So I'll start drawing it in, but try to leave the collage there so the model then becomes the image becomes incorporated with its background. So I'm doing that a lot with my figures. I have an awful lot of collages in this, but also these oils and acrylics. So
And do you have an intentionality? Like, is there a plan in your mind, or is that something that you release and you just find you find what it says to you?
when I do the collages, I don't have an intention to start, which is what I love about it. So it can be very intuitive. So my collages and grounds often I start very intuitively, and then I look for then there's an intention of what image do I want to bring into it,
Mhm.
and which photograph or drawing will work with that. And then there's the intention again, but once you get going, as you know, it's that push pull back and forth all the time between what do you want it to be and what does it want to be. So you let go of my favorite thing is when I really let go and say, okay, what does the painting want? Not what do I want,
Right.
and then they work. Then that's where a lot of the magic happens, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a difficult issue for a lot of people to understand, that sense that a painting has its own kind of energy in life and it can
Yeah.
dictate. And I do think it is connected to another level in you, almost subconscious kind of space where you have to, and that's where the trick is, right? To let that go, to let your conscious space go and just, have fun with it and release it with someplace that comes from someplace that's not defined.
Right. And even when it's from a photograph and, this scene, if you were to see the photograph, is still very different.
Yeah.
It's got the essence, I think, is the same, or it feels the same to me. But I didn't put in all the posts and all the wires and all I wanted to
Yeah.
have all take a front seat here. I wanted it to shine through as the ancient walls of this European city.
Right. The history.
Um, so yeah.
Yeah. So how many pieces are you going to be showing on the virtual platform?
On the virtual, I keep going back and forth. Right now up there, I have 24. I have up to 30 I can show, but I'm not going to put them all out. I want to mix things around. I'm looking for things that really work together. And
Yeah.
most of it's new, a few old because they work so well with the others.
Yeah.
Not old meaning within the last 1 to 2 years that I have shown before. So
Yeah.
there's a few of those, but most of them are new. And I have, yeah, like I said, 20 to 24 pieces up there and not sure how many I'll put in the side yard. I want to space them out nicely so it'll be nice and safe. So I might have, 12 pieces out there, or maybe up to 15 if I can get my easel spread out and use the walls.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Awesome.
yeah.
Well, good luck this weekend and good luck
Thank
with the virtual platform. And
you.
I'm
Thank
really
you.
glad
And thank
you're
you
in
again
it.
for giving me another shot at
Oh,
this.
yeah, for sure. Never to be defeated by technology. It's not. You just have to keep
Okay.
pushing back at that stuff. So to make it
Okay.
work.
Thanks so much and good
All
luck
right, Susan.
to you.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.